Absolutely. So you've given us a great background on yourself and your journey as an inventor. Take us back to your childhood. What kind of child were you? What were your interests, your passions, your characteristics? Because what I'm really interested in is how did Zuby evolve to be Zuby, creating this amazing tech?
My childhood, uh, when and where I grew up, my childhood was not standard, if you would. I was an anomaly. Um, I was raised by my grandmother during primary school, and she was widowed at that time. And then I had to move to a different city for secondary school, raised by my dad, who was single. So it was a lot of lonely time. I was 90% always by myself. And I read a lot of books. I think by the time I left high school, I think I'd read maybe about 1,000 novels at that time. I read a lot of books, and I, uh, I think I studied hard for whatever reason. Uh, I think I just loved learning. My grandmother told me that maybe I was 3 years old. I saw some kids. I said, "Who are those? Why are they wearing that? They were wearing a uniform." And she said, "Oh, they're going to school." And I said, "I want to go." So that's how I started. I started early, and I just like to, consume information. So with all of those, readings, of course, I read both nonfiction as well as science fiction. Um, I think in my primary school days, I think my mother sent me the science book series. It was little, I don't know, 20 to 30 pages each of bio, chem, physics, agricultural, little books. And the only one I could conduct an experiment with was the physics one. I got I think I got the battery and tied the copper wire here, tied the copper wire here, put the excess around the nail, and then I got an electromagnet. Boom! Oh man, I was hooked. I was that was like my eyes went pew. That was it. I said, okay, this is it. This is where it is. And when I went into secondary school, I shied away so much from non-science classes that I failed all of my curriculum with only science classes. You're supposed to take only one science. I did both biology and chemistry and added physics and added agricultural science and added geography. Like that's all I did, which is, I don't recommend it. I will recommend people having a balanced life, but the other side, the business studies, the economics, it's now that I understand what it is. Back then, like, it just didn't make any sense to me. So I shied away. So I was all about trying to invent something, right? And so that's my core. And going into medicine, of course, it's science, right? It's just your playground is the human body. It's not more like a mechanical body. It's more of the human body. And I was, good with chemistry and biology till my eyes went bad. And then I went into engineering, and engineering should have been fun, but because my eyes were so bad, it was just so hard, so tedious. I remember my last semester of college. I never slept on my bed at night, so I would always be in the computer lab writing code all night long till 6 a.m. Run to my room, lay on the bed till 9 a.m. Run to class. That I was hell bent on graduating. And some other people will have said this is too hard. Let me go do law, right? Let me go do history, because if you do those, you can screen read, right? Because with engineering, I mean, your physics class 3 times a week, 1 hour, and then your lab is 3 hours of lab. You have to go to the lab. There's no escaping the lab. You have to do all these hands-on projects. But I like challenging stuff. I like to challenge myself. I like to put in that effort. I like to just tire myself with the hard work ethic. In my first TEDx, I credit my grandmother so much for giving me the discipline, and my father for giving me the hard work, and my uncle for giving me the grit and the perseverance. And so those were all the things that made Zuby. And even in my TEDx talk, I talk about how um, even the movement of look, think, and zoom, which is from me, I like to look towards a better, brighter future, think of how to get there, and zoom to get there. It's now going from think and zoom, the physical tech innovation piece, to now think and zoom, the inspirational piece, and the three-step process to which anybody can apply to their lives to be able to achieve phenomenal things.
Wow. Have to ask you. So you are before me on the computer screen. Started in Africa, came to Europe, to the US, and now you're creating tech that impacts the whole world. What lessons do you see from being able to function in all those different environments and to be influenced by all of those different environments and the experiences that you lived? What, especially from Africa, because Africa is a continent of so much potential, and you're starting to see more and more inventors. And so, what kind of feedback could you give to us about that experience as an African inventor who has been able to move to the US and to understand and thrive in that kind of ecosystem?
I think, coming from a place like Nigeria, where I remember in high school, I used one of my classes was technical drawing, like the precursors for architecture. And there's this thing called a T square. If you talk to architects or draftsmen, I guess they're called, there's an elevated board that's wide, and then there's this long kind of ruler that you're supposed to be drawing, technical diagrams with protractors and stuff. And there wasn't constant power supply, but I know I will stay up till 1 a.m., 2 a.m. with candlelight doing my homework, right? And
Absolutely.
so you start out by doing more with less, right? The teacher is not going to accept that you couldn't do your homework because there's no power. Light up a candle, do your homework, right? So you're already thrust in that more with less mentality, because the level of infrastructure is not as advanced as that of Europe or America, you know. And then when you now come to a place like, the Western world, Europe or America, where you now see the advancements in infrastructure, and you're coming from a place where you were doing more with less. Well, now you have more. Now you want to do much more, right? So, and doesn't pertain just to me. Look around, people like Thomas Mensa, a Ghanaian born inventor of the fiber optics, to Sam Achilefu, Nigerian born inventor of cancer seeing goggles. His goggles sees cancer cells, right?
Oh my.
And so, um, and so many other amazing inventors. I think it's just coming from that place where you're lacking something, and then you get to a place where, wait a minute, one, two, three, four, five. Okay, let's take it to the next level.